You're right, guys and girls, so welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're not actually doing any mods or upgrading anything. We're actually replacing my expansion tank, aka coolant bottle, coolant tank, whatever you want to call it. I realised probably about a month ago I was losing a bit of coolant and I was kind of dreading the worst, like thinking the worst, maybe like head gasket or something stupid like that. But after doing a little bit of looking around, I filled up my coolant tank, and after a few days it had gone back down again. I was like, oh god, we've probably got a leak here or something like that, or head gasket like what I just said. Now I've done a little bit of looking around, and funny enough, it's quite a common issue for the coolant tank to actually crack, even like a little hairline crack. When the coolant is up to temperature and obviously it's pressurized, it can leak. So when it's cold and not been running, for example, it can be difficult to find the leak. But for me, it wasn't actually too bad. I know it's a common issue on the ST150, so I decided to look at the coolant tank first of all. Just took off the small bolt, lifted up the coolant tank, and I found the crack straight away. You can also see a little bit of like dried coolant, looks like it's been leaking there, and there was also a little bit of coolant underneath the coolant tank where it had just been leaking over a bit of time. So I'm glad that I found the issue straight away. I did also look at other places like the water pump area, the thermostat area, and things like that, but I couldn't see anything there. I'm thinking that it is just the coolant tank which has cracked. Now they do crack over time, so my car's 14 years old, so it's lasted that long. I was thinking about upgrading to like an alloy tank, but they're kind of ridiculous money. Like, I think you're looking at about 250 quid roughly for a decent quality one. You also can get cheaper ones on eBay, which are like, I think they're, I don't know what they are, they're some kind of metal coolant tank, but I've kind of heard mixed reviews on them. It's difficult to gauge how full the tank is. There is a little, I think they call it like a sight bubble, or a little window on the side where you can see how full the coolant is, but again, it's difficult to see, and it's just not as easy as the standard one. So it's stupid as it is. You can get one of these for, say, the 1.2 Fiesta for, I think it's literally like 15 or 20 quid brand new. So just because it's an ST, it's got an extra nozzle or outlet or inlet, whatever it is, on there. So say for example on a 1.2 you've just got this bottom one and this one up here. You haven't got two here, but for the ST you've got two here and one at the bottom, the inlets or outlets, whatever they are. This is 90 quid instead of like 15-20 quid which you can get for a 1.2. Bit annoying it's that much, but I'm kind of happy that we got a brand new one of these, because I think it would just look pretty clean. My one's a bit dirty. Mine's lasted me 14 years and this is a brand new one. I could get about the same kind of time out of this one. But yeah, I've just got a small bottle of coolant, a little 1 litre bottle, ready mixed, so I don't need to bother about getting, was it deionized water or something like that? You can't just use normal tap water with it, you have to use, it's like special bottled water, I think it's deionized water. But yeah, all I've got to do is take off these 3 bits. Obviously, first of all, we'll drain the coolant. I'll film that quickly. Simple, just taking off the bottom hose off the radiator. Drain the coolant, then it will literally just be clipping that hose back on, fitting this one, putting the pipes back on there, and topping it up. But my coolant is only, I think it's probably only about a year old, maybe a little bit older than that. It still looks perfectly fine. So I'm just going to chuck the old coolant back in, only because it's fairly new. But yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a big job. I just thought I'd film it just because I know it is a common issue on the ST. So I'll just pop the bonnet and then I will go from there. Right, so bonnet is open. It is a little bit windy today, so I hope the audio is going to be okay. As you can see, the coolant is quite low. Minimum line is just at the tip of my finger there. Don't know if you can actually see that. Don't know if you can see that down there, but minimum line is just about on the tip of my finger there, and the coolant is actually down to here, so it's a little bit below minimum. Don't think you're going to be able to really see down there, but underneath it is like a bit of, looks like coolant residue. So I was having a quick look around and straight away I saw that, and I thought I'd check here. As you can see, the coolant bottle isn't in the best condition. It's just got a stain in and it's a bit dirty and whatever. So I'm just going to get I think it's a 10mm bolt on here, undo that, and then I'll show you where it's been leaking from. So yeah, it is indeed a 10mm, so I'm going to quickly whack that off. Now at the back, I don't know how well you'll be able to see down there, there is just a small tab. So you need to push this black tab kind of forwards in towards the coolant bottle, and then you can just lift the coolant tank up. Just need a little wiggle. Coming, there we are. So as you can see, it was just that tab there and it slots into here. Now there's that mark just there. See, I don't know how well you can see that, but this mark here is actually a small crack, and you can see like a dried mark of coolant where it's been leaking down. Obviously I haven't disconnected any of the pipes yet, but you just do need to be a little bit careful, because these pipes here can go a little bit brittle, so like I said, just be a little bit careful with it. And down here you can see the kind of coolant where it's been leaking. All of this is slightly wet, so I might just give that a little clean up quickly, and then we can start having a look at draining the coolant. Alright then guys, so we're actually underneath the car. This is the radiator, and we just need to be getting off this pipe just here. There's a little, I think it's a Jubilee clip or something on the bottom there. I've just got some mole grips, so we are going to try and get that off now. So I've just got my mole grips on this clip and I'm just trying to twist it around a bit. It's been a little bit awkward in the position that it's in. There we go, it's starting to come around now. There we go, so I've just moved that clip just away a little bit. That should be enough. I don't know how well you actually see that. I'll just move that Jubilee clip from right at the base there, just moved it up. So now I can just prise this hose away, and that should mean that I can drain the coolant. Alright, it's just about to go. That did not go very well. So yeah, I've now got coolant all over my hands, all over my nice grey tracksuit, and all over my mat. But I've just opened the coolant reservoir lid, just taken the lid off, and the rest has now come out. Look at the state of that. But yeah, now you can see the tank is now empty. I'm literally just going to whack that hose back on in place. Try and not get even more fucking wet with coolant and crap. Whack it back on, get this bucket out of the way, make sure the liquid's okay and clean enough, and then we can just literally change the tank over. So there's the top one out. You just remember what order they go in. Tuck that down there, so they're in the correct order. Don't fucking spill coolant everywhere. Just slide that down there out of the way. There. Now just do the opposite. Slide down there. Slide that back up to the top. Top pipe and then bottom pipe. They clip on nicely. It's literally just a case of slotting it back down that tab at the back, just like so, and then you've just got this 10mm bolt to do back up. too tight. You want it tight, yeah, but not too tight. And that is your new coolant tank all installed. Now we just need to go about filling this back up, and then we should be all good. Right, so I just poured all the coolant from the from draining it out underneath. I've just poured it all back into here just to make it a little bit easier. And now I'm just gonna start filling this up. See if that drops at all while it gets the air out. There are a few bubbles coming out, so that level will drop very slightly. So obviously there will probably still be a little bit of air in the system. There was a little bit of new coolant left in the bottom of this, so I'm not really expecting to put all of this in, but I'm expecting to put a bit more in than that. Might just leave it for a few minutes and see if that drops while the air bubbles come out. So at the moment I've literally just started the engine. It did drop a little bit, so I think there might have been a little bit of air in the system. I've just topped it up to maximum again. Just checked underneath the leaks and it looks all good. And I'm just going to let it warm up a little bit, leave the cap off for I don't know, a few minutes just until any air which is in the system has got out, and then I can pop the lid on, make sure it gets up to temperature, and then we are pretty much all done. So I'll come back to you in a sec with an update. So yeah guys, it's that simple really. All it is just draining the coolant out from the radiator at the bottom, just undoing one of those hoses, and then letting it drain out, putting that hose back on, putting the Jubilee clip back in place, and then literally just changing the tank over, bolt the new tank in, put the pipes on, or the hoses, top it up, and it may go down a little bit when you start the car just because there may be a little bit of air in the system or the coolant hasn't fully got around the system yet. So I just started the car with the cap very loosely screwed on, then dropped, no, it probably dropped just below the minimum mark. So then I took the cap off while the engine was still running, topped it up while the engine was still on. Yeah, I left the tap off for only a few minutes while the engine was running, just so any bubbles coming out of the system, like any air which is trapped in the system, has just been let out into the atmosphere. Then I've screwed the cap on, and then it's got nicely up to temperature after about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so. But yeah, it looks like that's all sorted. I'll probably take it for a little drive and just make sure that everything's fine, no leaks or anything like that. But yeah, it looks like the issue's pretty much sorted. But yeah, like I said, I'll just be keeping an eye on a few little areas where I've changed around today. So I'll be checking the hoses at the bottom by the radiator and just checking the hoses around the coolant tank for the next couple of days, just for leaks and things like that, but I doubt there will be any. It should be all good. But yeah, that's pretty much job done. So yeah, sorry it's not a very interesting video, it's just a little update really, and I thought I might as well make a video on it, seeing as they are quite a common thing to happen and go wrong on the ST150s. But yeah, I think I will leave the video there, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.